All right, guys. Okay. Thank you guys for coming to join the discussion. We're going to be discussing some of the characters from Senran Kagura S-Civil Versus that would be really awesome to see in BBTAG. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to cover all of them. I know for sure we're not going to cover all of them. But feel free to @, me if there's something that you want to add or if you have a question, and I'll be sure to check the comments before I go on. Just a heads up there. Okay, now if you don't know too much about Senran Kagura, just know that it's really exciting to see them join BBTAG for a couple of reasons. I know that some people try to say that the SK characters are all generic and boring. I hear that a lot, but to be honest, that's just not true at all. In case you don't know, the franchise has so many characters with so many so many different personalities that I easily see them having some of the best interactions in BBTAG. Also, when it comes to gameplay, the cast offers a huge variety of characters overall that each fight with their own weapon and their own style. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't had their own fighting game already. I didn't know that much about SK a little bit over a month ago, but when I took a look at some of the characters that were mentioned in the datamine and, just thought of what they might play like, I decided to check out the entire series, and at this point, I can honestly say that I'm excited for them being a part of BBTAG. And I think, this isn't confirmed or anything when I say this, but I do think that SK will get decent representation in the game, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Susano, yes, I will be mentioning Daidouji. Trust me, I will mention Daidouji. Alright, first I'm going to go over the datamine characters. These are the characters that have just had their name mentioned in the announcer files. It doesn't necessarily confirm anything, but I'm going to go over those characters first. Then, going to take a look at some of the popularity polls, including the recent one done on Twitter by TFG, and maybe I'll go over a few that aren't that popular but would still be really fun to play as. Hopefully I'll have time for that. Okay. Again, feel free to comment on any of the characters as I mention them, or tell me who you'd like to see from SK, even if they're not on the list. And I might just, from memory, comment on them, just like my general thoughts. But yeah, just @, me if you want me to be sure that I see it. Alright, first credit to Swordsman09 from Discord for this. He listed the SK announcer files in order according to the file number. His theory is that they might be in the order that they were thought of, and that the characters that are near the end might have been like last minute additions. I think there might be something to that, but let's get to the list first. Asuka and Yumi were actually already in the datamine last year. They had their names mentioned along with other characters before we even knew that this game was going to be getting a bunch of different franchises added to it. The list from this year includes Homura, Miyabi, Yozora, Yagyu, Mirai, Ryobi, Rinka, Kagura, Hibari, and Hikage, in that order. There's a pattern of each leader having someone to partner with, but Hibari and Hikage at the end kind of throw that off. But first, let's just take a look at each of those characters. Starting with Yumi, because she's already confirmed. Alright? Well, I'm sure that you guys already know Yumi. A lot of people are, some people are tired of seeing her, so let's just go on to Asuka. Alright, so Asuka has, I think it's, Wakizashi's? She has, like, her dual-wielding katanas there. Alright, I was just messing with you guys. I'm gonna go back to Yumi, just to be fair. Alright. So, a lot of SK fans are definitely happy with how she looks in the game, even though some people are a bit disappointed that she was the first rep. They are happy with how she looks in the game. In my opinion, Arc did an excellent job transferring her over from Estival Versus. Everything that she has in BBTAG literally comes straight from her home game. Her supers, her specials, aerial rave, everything that you guys have seen in her gameplay. And in my opinion, that's pretty impressive. She can still freeze her opponents. At the same time, looking at how she was brought over, her moveset looked pretty straightforward to translate. You know, like if you've played her in SL Versus, you'll see that a lot of what they did just, it was straightforward. It wasn't like, okay, well, we need to figure out how is this going to work. And the one thing that surprised me is that she got a parry special. I know it's a mechanic from her home game, but I personally didn't really see her as the kind of character to have a parry, but maybe that's just me, you know? Some fans have been a bit concerned about her BBTAG moveset because they think that because she was this easy to bring over, that they'll handle the other characters that they bring over the same way. For example, Yumi got Rekka's. Her air triangle from Estival Versus is now her jump C. She got a parry special. Her DP is the same as the standard burst in Estival Versus, and her aerial rave has a set combo follow-up. Now, I doubt that this exact formula is going to apply to all the SK characters. At least, I personally really hope not. I just think that they'd feel too similar if they did handle them that way. And there's honestly no reason for them to do that, because each character has enough moves that, you know, they can have their own, a lot of them can have their own unique DP, and they can have a special that's more fitting for the character than a parry. I will say that Arc has been doing a good job making sure that the characters in the game aren't samey, you know, like bland or, you know, feel similar across two different characters. So I don't see a reason why they would stop, you know, handling things that way now. Midnaz, Mirai, and Hikage. Both of those characters are actually pretty popular. And of course I'm going to be getting to them in just a little bit. But for now, going to be going on to Asuka. So Asuka, the leader of the Hanzo girls. As a character, she gave me a lot of Naruto vibes, which for me is definitely a good thing. She even has that cool special where, like, she can uppercut her opponent the same way that Naruto did to Neji in the Chunin exams. And I don't know, like when I saw that, I was personally sold on her coming to this game. So I really hope she has that special. I don't see why she wouldn't have it in some form in the game here. So that would just be cool to see. So yeah, I think overall that she'll probably play like an all-arounder, kind of similar to what we've seen from Yumi, but she'll have better pressure up close compared to her. From what I've seen, Yumi likes to stay in the mid-range mainly, but I think that Asuka will be a bit more in your face, even though she has tools from a variety of different ranges. Alright, moving on to Homura. I'm personally really excited about Homura potentially joining the roster. This is the kind of character that I know I would put time into because I just love the way that her playstyle looks. Homura is actually in another fighting game called Nitro Plus Blasters, and she has some moves in that game that are taken straight from Estival Versus. I expect that you'd see some of those same exact moves in BBTAG. Pretty much she plays like a ninja version of Wolverine, and I think that's pretty hype. There's little to no chance that we'd get Wolverine, you know, from Marvel in BBTAG, so at least we should get Homura. And I will say though, I think that her attacks I think that her attacks in BBTAG compared to Nitro Plus might have different properties, but I think that's fine as long as she still, as long as she still feels right. Also, I'm not saying that it's too likely, but it'd be really great to see Asuka and Homura revealed at the same time. I would love to see that, and personally, I think that kind of makes sense from what I've gathered, or, just from what I've seen playing the games and watching, playthroughs and the anime. Asuka and Homura, like, in a way, even though they're rivals, they do, like, make a team, so I don't know. That's just, like, my personal... I would love to see if they were both revealed at the same time. That would just be a really nice surprise. Alright, let me check the comments really quick before I go on. Yeah, okay, so Susano, pretty much, Nitro Plus Blasters was a crossover fighting game, and Heart from Arcana Heart was in that game, as well as Homura from Senran Kagura. So they were both in that game. As far as I know, that's the only crossover that, they've been together in. I'm pretty sure that's the only one, because I did go take a look at the Senran Kagura collabs. But yeah, if Homura comes to this game, this will be the next one. Great. If I were to guess, yeah, I would guess that the next reveals would be in January at EVO Japan. So, that's what I'm hoping. All right. Okay. On to Miyabi. This is a character that I feel like she would love to play at the mid-range. Depending on how she's translated into BBTAG, I could see her having a dashing command grab and really solid projectiles. Popularity-wise, she's not that popular in Japan, but she actually has crossed over with a Japanese mobile MMO game for this series called A Certain Magical Index, along with Yumi. So both her and Yumi were in that game, so apparently you don't have to be the most popular character to be able to cross over. Oh, Suzuno, I see that you're excited for Miyabi. Yeah, hopefully she does get in. Hopefully we do get the 4 main leaders. I think that she could definitely have a pretty cool and a visually, like a nice looking moveset just to look at, Okay. Next up, we have the best guessing girl, Yozora. She is such a well-rounded character in the series. She'd be great to be added to BBTAG. I've seen some people say that she'd play like Mika, but looking at her moveset, she could easily feel completely different from her. I've actually been thinking about making a moveset video, for her, showing what I mean, just as showing examples for what I think her specials should be in BBTAG and things along those lines. But no promises, it's just something that I thought about. I do see her having a command grab in the air and a charging attack on the ground that's projectile invul and unblockable, something that's along the lines of Suzuno's God Press. She's a very popular character overall in Japan, and if Yumi only got one of her teammates to join her, it makes the most sense, in my opinion, for it to be Yozora. Okay, Daidouji and Suzuno. Interesting. I've seen some people say that they would play like Daidouji and Yang, or that Yang would think that Daidouji is like her mother or something, just like from a glance. And I think that they could have a pretty interesting intro, to be honest. Okay, Yozakura plus Mika. That's interesting. You know what? Now that you... That's actually an interesting team, because I could see Yozakura trying to care for and you know, like, be careful around Mika, take care of her, because, you know, she's small. But yeah, I think that they could have an interesting intro, too. Okay. Oh, I see you're doing a countdown to BBTAG 2.0. Don't count it, man. It only slows things down. All right. So, we have Neo joining next month as the second character with an umbrella, the first being Rachel, and I could see Yagyu joining to pretty much make an umbrella gang in the game. Although, I'll say that I don't necessarily find Asuka and Yagyu to be a pair. They get along well enough, but I always see Yagyu and Hibari as a pair. I'll get into Hibari in a bit, because I'm going to keep going in order. But yeah, Yagyu has... She has blades at the edge of her umbrella. She can shoot water out of it, and apparently something that looks like squid ink, and she also can have a squid tentacle pop out of her umbrella as well. I think that she'd have good tools for both long and mid-range, but honestly, like, I don't know. It would just be interesting to see how they would translate her into BBTAG. Alright. So, Mirai. Mirai is another character that's very popular in Japan. She'd be the first character in the game with a gunbrella. She's a character that I can see being a crazy zoner. She has projectiles that she can shoot in all directions. She can have a laser beam shoot you from the sky. She has a couple of guns that she can just summon and have them float in the air and shoot. She keeps multiple weapons in her skirt, including a huge Gatling gun. And for a super, her skirt pretty much turns into a fighter jet and she flies across the screen, guns blazing. Yeah, I could definitely see her being pretty wild if she did end up making it into this game. Midnaz. Okay. Okay, I guess you're asking... I hope I didn't look at the screen a bit, like, too late there, but I guess you're asking about Mirai's personality. Mirai is... I'll say that she's an intelligent girl. She's smart. She can still be, like, kind of petty when it comes to things. She is really self-conscious about her breasts. And... yeah, like... she looks up to Haruka because she's in the same team as her. She looks up to her as kind of like the woman to be like, even though I hope that she doesn't try to be like her in every way. But, you know. Oh, okay, okay, wow. You meant the one before Yagi. Alright, so just really quick, Yozakura. Okay, alright. So, Yozakura, she's like... she's aggressive in a fight, but at the same time, she cares a lot about her teammates and her friends. She's like, for most of the time, she's like really serious. She's usually the one that does the training with Yumi. Yumi tries to get the rest of her team to train with her, and they end up not. But no, Yozakura is the one that, you know, she's the one that is dedicated to her training. At the same time, though, in Estival Versus, she actually, like, she got to the beach and she just pretty much let loose. She was able to just have fun, and I don't know, that was like a nice moment for her. You know, she had like a nice bit of character development in Estival Versus, in my opinion, because she was so serious before then, you know. Just to give you a quick idea. But yeah, no, in a fight, like, she's serious, bro. All right. Let me see. We were on Mirai. Okay, cool. So now on to Ryobi. Fun fact, she is boob mates with Mirai because okay, because you know, they both have small breasts, but Ryobi actually grows multiple cup sizes when she transforms. Her Shinobi Tenshin, her Shinobi transformation, she grows multiple breast sizes, as you see in the picture there. That's not like her base form. But yeah, anyway, she uses a sniper rifle with an axe attachment on it, and I think that would be interesting to see in the game. Yes, technically Ruby Scythe is also a sniper rifle, but you know, her gameplay doesn't revolve around that at all. I think it'd be interesting to have a character that actually plays like a sniper, and it'd be cool if she had something like a slow, air unblockable sniper special that did a good chunk of damage. You know, like I said, slow, so you know it's fair and balanced, but at the same time it's a sniper rifle. You know, that's what I personally would like to see. But going from her gameplay in Estival Versus, she'd be effective, mostly in long and close range combat. But I don't know, maybe like not so much though at the mid range. I think that she could have especially interesting interactions because she's often blunt and at times just rude. Alright, Minaz. Yeah, like I know that not everyone's gonna like every character, but yeah, it's all good, bro. Okay. And now we have Rinka, the best girl from Estival Versus, in my opinion. I'm sure that you noticed that she's holding, you know, drumsticks there. She has drums that she summons from lightning-based energy, and she beats them to conjure lightning bolts, and to pretty much like strike her enemies with lightning. I don't know about you, but to me, that's hype. On top of that, her theme slaps, and I could definitely see her having some pretty fun interactions. She was pretty well liked back when Estival Versus came out. In Europe, there was a vote for which 3 characters should have Dakimakuras. I think I'm saying that right. Those are the body pillowcases. And, you know, which 3 characters should have one in the Bahonkas edition. And fans voted for Hikage, Katsuragi, and Rinka. Mainly, I really want to play her with Rise because literally they would be like the only band or music team in the game. I think that they probably have like a really cool intro together too. I just think that it would look really good. I see Rinka almost being a reasonably well-rounded character. I'm just not exactly sure how they would bring her over, but I think that she could be pretty well-rounded. She could be effective, I know for sure like at close and mid-range, but I don't know what they would do in terms of like what she would have for long-range tools. She played an important role in Estival Versus alongside her sisters Kanabi and Khufu. She's also their leader. Honestly, the Kagura group is my personal favorite, you know, out of all the different squads and schools in Senran Kagura. And if it was up to me, I would like to have all the Kagura characters in the game, all the Kagura girls. But only 2 of them are mentioned in datamine, so I don't think it's that likely. Alright. Let me just double check the comments, and then I'm going to move on to the next one. Yeah, like Akatsuki. Yeah, it would be interesting. Akatsuki and Rinka probably would have an intro. Yeah, they both control lightning, and they both have like, I feel like aggressive energy from both of them. I don't know Akatsuki that well, but they both look like they're aggressive characters. Yo, Star, what's up? Don't worry, man. I am going to mention Yomi. Just give me... I'm going to get to Yomi. Yomi's going to come later, but I'm going to get to her. Don't worry, bro. Okay, cool. So... yeah, okay. Susanoo, yeah. I think that, I don't know. I don't know if she would necessarily have a... I don't know if Daidouji would necessarily have, like, an attitude similar to Azrael. I don't know. Azrael is more of just... he'll just fight and... he'll just fight just for the joy of fighting, and he'll just destroy things. Daidouji isn't exactly like that, but she's just as fierce, in my opinion. Alright. So, we're on to Kagura. The one here, this is actually Kagura as a kid. This is in Estival Versus. The way that it works, when you pick her, in the intro, she's there, and then she takes the red orb, and then she transforms into her adult version. Right here. But still, that's just in the intro. Her actual Shinobi Tenshin is true Kagura. That's true Kagura, right there. Alright, so yeah, she's another member of the Makagura, and she makes a lot of sense, being a partner pick for Rinka. Moveset-wise, oh my god, bro. Moveset-wise, she has it all. She has long-distance projectiles that look like they'd be really good for locking down. Her air dash is a teleport. She has moves that hit 360 degrees all the way around her. So any one of them could be, you know, a pretty effective DP. She has a beam super. She has moves that could easily translate to high-low mix-ups in this game. Literally, this character has pretty much everything, you know, looking at her moveset. Honestly, when I first saw her, I didn't see the little girl. I saw the adult form, and I automatically assumed that she was the villain. In action, she honestly really, you know, she does look like it, but she's not. She's not, though. The one thing that I'd like to see is for her to have intros where, you know, she's a kid, and then she takes the red orb, becomes the adult, and then transforms into true Kagura. Because, I don't know, I just think that would be cool to see in the game. You know, almost like a this isn't even my final form kind of thing, you know? Maybe she'll, like, be a kid, take the orb, have the interaction with, you know, whoever her partner is, and then transform. Like, oh, you thought I was ready for the fight? Give me 1 second. Like, I think that would be pretty cool. Or maybe, you know, for her interactions, maybe she'll have different forms, talk to different characters, you know, because I think that could be interesting. But of course, she'll always go to her final form right before the fight starts. Fun fact, she has 3 ninja arts. Izanami, Izanagi, and Susanoo. Can't escape from crossing fate, bro. I just thought that was crazy that like her 3 ninja arts were... I'm just like, wow, she would fit in perfectly to this game. Yo, Minaz, yes. A lot of people... Okay, when I say I've seen a decent number of people who do want Kagura. I'll talk about this in a little bit, but... Because on the fan poll, on TFG's fan poll, it doesn't look like it. Like, Kagura isn't that high. But we'll get to all of that, but I will say that from what I've seen, yeah, I do think that there's a good number of people that also want her in the game. Oh my god, yes, Kagura talking to Susanoo. Bro, that would be wild. I just wonder. Like, you know what? I really want to see that now, because I could see, like, Susanoo saying something like to like the little kid, right? Like, she comes over like she's ready to fight. She's a little kid, and then he says something like, "Oh, you need to like respect my power." And then she takes the orb, and then she like goes to her true form, and then it's like, oh, I see. You know, I think that would be cool to have them like mutually respect each other because they can see each other's power. Because yeah, in Senran Kagura, Kagura is crazy strong. I don't know what her limit is, but she's really strong in SK. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So you want Hikage, Gilgamesh. All right, bro. Well, I'm gonna get to Hikage in a little bit. I have good news for you. Not guaranteeing that she's in the game, but I do have good news for you. There's a lot of people that want Hikage. There's a lot. I can easily say that. And yeah, I'll show you guys in just a second. All right. Let me see. All right. Okay, so next is Hibari. Starting here, the last names in the data mine would give Hanzo and Homura Squad both a second rep. And it does feel like it throws off the balance a bit, but you know, that's just how it is. So, in case you guys don't know, Hibari is Takaki's favorite SK character, and I'm guessing that's why she's here. But she's not that popular here in the West from what I've seen. I feel like she would have a clumsy rushdown sort of playstyle. Personality-wise, she's kind of childlike, but she almost seems like she chooses to act that way, mainly because when she needs to, she does stand up for herself and she can be serious, you know? So, but I just think that I don't know, for me, it's just hard for me to see Yagyu or Hibari getting in without the other. But at the same time, I do know that's totally possible. It's just, like, so many times they're just, like, paired together, you know? Oh my god. The booty ninja. Yeah, she has like a ninja art, like But Go Boom or something. I don't know, man. Like I said, she's like this weird, clumsy, like ish kind of character. All right. Okay, yeah, I was just double checking the comments really quick. Okay, so now we're on to Hikage. Hikage is a fan favorite in both Japan and here in the West, and from what I've seen, that is very rare for this franchise. Honestly, I think it would be obvious that if Homura could only have one of her teammates between Mirai and Hikage, Hikage would be the best choice. You know, she's the snake girl from SK. The color of her top really reminds me a lot of Terumi. When I first saw her, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna pair her with Terumi, like Hikage Terumi. Like, oh man, I don't know. It would just be cool to see them both on the same team. You know. But yeah, from what I've seen, I feel like she'd be able to run through anything that can be low profiled in this game. She runs extremely close to the ground. She'd look pretty stylish in my opinion in BBTAG if she does happen to get in. Alright, let me just double check the comments really quick. Okay, yo, I actually have not seen Attack on Titan, so if Hikage looks like a character from Attack on Titan, I did not pick up on that. I will say this, though, since you did bring that up, I feel like a lot of characters, I'm not even joking, I feel like a lot of characters in this franchise just remind me of, like, so many different characters that I already knew, you know? One of them I'm going to get to in a bit because some people are confused why she wasn't in the data mine, and I have an idea about that, but yeah, I'm going to get to that. But like, for example, Homura and Wolverine, like, playstyle wise, I mean, they, you know, there's some stuff like she does that literally like Wolverine does in MVC, you know. Ryobi's sister Riona, she reminded me of Panty from Panty and Stocking. They both use guns. She transforms into like this angel outfit. They both have, like, you know, their sexual kinks and everything. I'm just like, wow, okay, you know. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but yeah, I see like a lot of those, like, I mentally compare them to other characters I already know, and I've just never done that as much as I have with this franchise specifically. Hikage Hazama, you got the dual snake team. Honestly, that makes sense because they're both the more chill characters. Tsurumi is anything but chill. Okay, Midnaz, when you say, I'm guessing you mean her awakening. Honestly, I don't want to get too much into moves, because if we go into moves for each character, that, bro, this could take forever. But yeah, I do hope that she gets some of that, not as her astral, not as like an astral, but that she has like some of those attacks as like an EX special. I think that would be pretty cool. Because yeah, when she goes into that mode, she just looks like just sadistic and crazy, you know. I don't think that she'd have direct access to that mode, but I mean, come on, just give me like an EX special where she just, like, you know, does something really quick. You know, I'd like to see that. Okay, so it's called Bloodlust mode. I will keep that in mind. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, both yeah, Hikage doesn't have emotions, as she likes to claim. I mean, from what I've seen, she does. They're just mostly suppressed. You know, they're just mostly suppressed. It's like she experiences it that way, so I'll just say that she is less emotionally alive than most. I think that that's the best way to put it, but she has emotions. They're there. She just doesn't, they just don't like trigger nearly as often as like most other people. Oh, okay, so it's not great. You're telling me it was called Bloodlust mode. Okay, so it's not called Bloodlust mode. Okay, I'll just make sure I look it up in a bit. All right, I'm just double checking everything really quick. Just 1 second. All right. Okay, yeah. So a couple of reminders. A couple of reminders that I think are important. Late 2017, in an interview, Takaki, the producer of SK at the time, said that he was interested in making a 2D fighting game with Arc System Works. Yes, on paper, he quote-unquote left Marvelous, but he's still currently in charge of the SK collabs. Last month, in an interview, he was asked when he would be working on a fighting game. And keep in mind, he is right now working on Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, you know, but he didn't mention that. Instead, he said, hey, we just announced Yumi for Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. And he confirmed that he was responsible for that happening. In the data mine, out of all the franchises added after launch, Senran Kagura has the most names. Now, sure, that doesn't mean that they're all gonna get in, but I think it's interesting that it still had the most out of the 3 that were added afterwards. It's pretty clear to me that Takaki still cares a lot about the SK fans, and I'd even say that he personally likes BBTAG, because, he even had his own favorite character mentioned there. Now, that doesn't mean that, for sure she's going to be coming, but, I mean, come on. At the very least, he's thought about playing his personal favorite character in BBTAG. And I'm sure that he would have a lot of fun playing her. Alright, let me just double check the chat really quick, because I saw a couple of you guys. Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, Minaz, I was from the anime, Hikage seemed like she was kind of cruel then as well, and I was confused because I was like, she didn't seem like she was this cruel in the games, but that was in the first anime, season 1. So I don't know. I guess that's just, part of her personality. I'm guessing that's just, but yeah. Character development. That's what happened. Okay, Jodo. I don't know. I think that it's definitely possible they could have more than just the main 4. I think that it's pretty possible, bro. Alright. Minaz. Alright, I'll keep that in mind, bro. Okay. I know for myself, yeah, I can say that for myself, after the 4 main leaders, I'd love to see Rinka, Daidouji, Yozora, and Homura make it into BBTAG. Combo, I'm not sure if he's still here. He might have had to go a little bit not too long ago. But yeah, Combo actually made these really cool portrait-style BBTAG cards of those 4. They look great. I just pinned them on Twitter. Here's a link for you guys to check them out if you want. Alright. I would just love to see, at the very least, Daidouji, Rinka, and Rise get in the game. If just those 3, make it in, in addition to what we have now, for me, this would be the best roster ever. This would definitely be the best roster ever. Let me see here. Alright, I'm gonna get to the comments in just a second. But, yeah, seeing how most of the characters this year have been fan picks, I totally feel like even if your favorite character isn't here in the data mine, which that's the case with U-Star when it comes to Yomi, I feel like even if they're not in the data mine, if you ask them for it, and I'm not saying, tweeting at them every day or every week or anything like that, but just, mention it to them, every so often, then, they might get in. It's probably mostly up to Takaki, and I think at the very least, he'll consider it if you ask, just because he legitimately does care about the fan base, just from everything that I've seen. Alright, yeah, Star, Yomi, I think Yomi would have a wild moveset in BBTAG if she did get in. Yo, Midnaz, thank you so much, bro. Okay, Johto. Trust me. I know that it's been a while since I know we haven't gotten an Arcana Heart rep since Heart came out. And I know that we're just now getting a Ruby rep next month. And this is the thing. I actually planned on making a video talking specifically about this. But just in short, I'm personally pretty sure that Examu was the one that made Heart Sprite. So they're the ones that are going to have to make the rest of the Arcana Heart characters. Arxis spent 9 months between EVO last year and what, like March, April, May of this year? They spent 9 months rebuilding the game for arcades. That's a lot of time, and they did have to rebuild it. If you look into how development works for these kind of games, in interviews, devs have said, oh, when you go from console to arcade, you do literally have to rebuild the whole game. Okay? Of course, they have all the assets there, but they still had to rebuild the whole thing, you know, and get it up to working standards. Just saying. And, you know, then between then and now, we've gotten what we've gotten. And of course, I would say that it looks a bit better in terms of the number of characters that we're getting with this new update compared to the last one. But, you know, obviously because of what I just said, you know, they decided to spend their resources making an arcade version, so that did take a lot of time. I also think that there's a decent chance that Blitztank, the sprite for Blitztank, wasn't done by Arxis for this game, but Subtle Style did it themselves. And I say that because Akatsuki, when he got into Eunice, he had his sprite done. They're the ones that did his sprite for Eunice. You know? But yeah. I'll make a video on that. You know, going into, you know, into like a few more details and like showing some things that I found. But pretty much, it's just that Ruby characters take time because, you know, you gotta watch. They have to go and look at each character, figure out what their moveset would look like, what they should feel like in a fighting game. There's a lot they need to do when it comes to Ruby, but there's less that they need to do in comparison when it comes to Senran Kagura. And so far, I believe that Senran Kagura is the only new franchise since launch that Arxis is doing the sprites for. You know, but yeah, I'll just make a whole video. I'll just make a video about that probably sometime in the future. Okay. Alright, well yeah, I'll just make a video addressing that, but I don't think that Ruby's gonna have a huge roster. I think they're gonna get, like, decent representation, but I don't think they're gonna have a huge roster. Dread, Murasaki. If they added Murasaki, this is gonna be the last one I answer, and then I'm gonna have to move on here. But, yeah, Murasaki. I think that she could be interesting. When I first saw her, I was reminded a little bit of Blake, just because, you know, she throws out the blades that are in her hair. But I think that she would play a lot differently than Blake. Probably be like, I'm pretty sure she has like tools for mid and close range. I'm pretty sure. She's not a character that I spent too much time playing in Estival Versus. All right. Hold on. I'm just trying to remember where I was. Okay. All right. So here we have some popularity polls that were held in Japan. From what I've seen here, Yumi, Hikage, Ikaruga, and Yomi get top 5 or close to top 5 pretty consistently. And I see Yozora and Mirai tend to stay around top 10. But of course, I'm sure that, you guys are noticing that Yumi is like almost always first in these polls. That's just how it is. Yumi is just that popular. She really is very popular in Japan. But, like at the last poll there, at least Asuka's mentioned, because it's a pair, it's a popularity poll when it comes to pairings, and, you have Asuka and Yumi, so there's that. All right. I do remember on another poll that I saw for fans in the West, I remember seeing Hikage and the main 4 leaders, and I think Ryobi and Yozora being like reasonably high, Rinka being the highest Makagura girl. But yeah, that was a while ago, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to find that one again for today. So, but anyways, let's take a look at TFG's poll. Now, I think this list would have been a lot different if SK fans didn't have to worry, if Asuka and the rest of the leaders were going to be getting in or not. From everything that I saw, a lot of fans voted for Asuka, or I'll say a decent number of them voted for Asuka instead of their actual favorite character, which I totally understand given the circumstances, and the fact that they know that like they want proper representation, they want their main characters to be in BBTAG. That's totally understandable. But I think that doing that skewed things a bit for pretty much 6th place onwards. In my opinion, it kind of skewed things a bit, after starting at 6th place. Starting from the top, we already mentioned the leaders. So, Katsuragi, she got 4th place. Now, I've seen a good number of fans asking for her, here in the West, asking where is she, why isn't she in the datamine, or saying they want her in the game. And I know that she would be interesting to see in the game for sure. Right now, the thing is, we only have one girl that has a lot of kicks, and that's Chie, and I know they'd feel completely different playstyle wise. I just think that the biggest thing to consider here is her character. Katsuragi loves to grope other girls, and I'm sure that, SK fans are well aware of this. She loves to blatantly talk about it. She loves to do it, just whenever. If she's in and they completely remove that from the character, I'm sure that fans will notice. And I think that fans, might get upset because she's being censored. This doesn't just apply to her, though. This also applies to other characters like Haruka and Riona, which both of them, they can't say and do everything that they've been doing in SK and BBTAG because this game is rated T. For Ryobi, though, I know that she'll drop an F-bomb every so often, but if she doesn't say it in this game, I don't think fans will necessarily get upset about that because she can still insult and abuse her partner, so essentially she's still the same character. There are times where she even censors herself in her home game. They might bring that in the BBTAG if she did get in. I don't see her really being affected by that too much, but yeah, Katsuragi, like if you paired Kat with 9 or S and she doesn't try to grope her, like people are gonna be like, what? Like, why isn't she doing anything? At least I think that's probably the reaction that people would have. Hold on, let me just check the comments really quick. Okay. I mean, I don't know about her outfit being an issue for the game. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say they could just make it so that her shirt always covers like enough of like her breasts and everything, you know, but I don't know. I don't know if they would have to do anything stricter than that. Jodo. Okay, when it comes to the rating, when it comes to like the ratings for games, I just don't. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the way it works for games as well as movies, if like there's like a tier list essentially for when you swear, right? At least that's how they see it. So if someone drops an F-bomb in a game, then they expect it to probably be rated M, right? That there's just different things like that where the language that was used was so strong, you know, um, then it has to be raised to an M, or for a movie, oh, you know, it can't just be like a PG rated movie. All right. So, I will say though that I still feel like Katsuragi and Hikage would probably be that high on the list regardless. Just regardless, even if they knew that the other main characters were coming, I still think that they would be, that high because they are very popular characters from what I've seen. Now we already covered Hikage, so on to Ikaruga. Now, honestly, this one kind of surprised me. She's really popular both in Japan and the West, and like I already said, that's really rare. Not only that, but she's also one of the safest characters to add. She's polite, she's considerate to her teammates, she doesn't even swear that much, and I mean, she's really covered up. She does that. She doesn't think that other characters should be exposing themselves, as she likes to say, but she's like one of the safest characters, and she's really popular, so why would she be skipped over? The only reason that I personally could think of is that maybe ARC is still considering Ryuko and Satsuki from Kill la Kill. If you look at Satsuki, she and Ikaruga look a lot alike, at least to me. They don't look like identical, but they look similar enough, that at a glance, if you didn't remember exactly what they look like, you might mistake one for the other. Or, if someone's not a fan of the other franchise, then they might mistake one for the other at a glance. And yeah, if you looked at Satsuki's moveset in Kill la Kill If, you'd see that it's pretty similar to Ikaruga's moveset. As of right now, we don't have any two characters in the game that both look and play like each other. And if Satsuki is coming to BBTAG, then that might be the reason why Ikaruga would be kept out. That's just a theory that I have. That's, like if it's not that, I honestly have no idea because, like I said, she's a really popular character. That's just like the best thing that I could, that I could think of. Mid-Naz. I personally disagree with that, man. I think that it's like one of those things it's like a possibility. At this point, I don't think it's likely, but it's definitely a possibility in my opinion. I don't think it would be like more than Ryuko and Satsuki, but I do think, like, I don't see them getting in as like, oh, hey, here's a full fate and we're gonna fully represent the main characters. It would just be Ryuko and Satsuki if it did happen. But even then, I still don't think it's that likely. It's just the only thing that I thought could stop Ikaruga potentially from getting in the game, All right. So, next up, we have Daidouji. Now, I feel like maybe the majority of votes from TFG's poll were from SK fans instead of fighting game fans. And I say that because no way Daidouji is actually like that low. She was like 7th place on that fan poll. And, you know, I've seen plenty of SK fans that have said that Daidouji isn't actually an SK character. She's a fighting game character in the SK universe. Even like fans of that franchise, like even they got that sense from her. If you look at how she plays and her attitude, you'll see exactly what they mean. She looks like she was made for a fighting game. I will say though, there is this 3D beat 'em up game called Uppers, also made by Marvelous, that she was a guest character in, but the game itself just doesn't do her justice at all. She's literally held back in the game due to how it plays. Also, her redesign in that game looks bad in my opinion compared to, you know, her traditional one, like, you know, the one pictured here. And yeah, when it comes to the most popular Senran among the BBTAG community, you know, I think that she takes it. And I say that because I remember on the subreddit, like, someone said that, like, it would be really cool if Arxis had her join, and they got, like, a lot of upvotes for that. They got a lot of upvotes. And from what I've seen, she's just the #1 pick in the West when it comes to non-SK fans. This is that character that all the people before, I don't think there were like a crazy number of them, but all the people before who were saying, no, keep SK out the game, we don't want it. This is that character that when they see her and she's added to the game, they're gonna put aside their biases. They're gonna be like, oh, yeah, man, Senran Kagura. Hell yeah, bro, that's it. And they're gonna play, you know, they're probably gonna at least try out this character because, dude, yes, and I do feel like she is like that interesting of a character, to be honest, moveset wise. Okay, see, I see some of you guys there saying, oh, she's too muscular. I'll say this, just like how you guys dislike the muscular, you know, the muscular girls, I've seen that there is like kind of this trend, or this more recent trend in anime, where people will like their muscle girls, you know, and I don't know, I kind of feel like that's just how the SK fans look at this. They're like, oh, look at her, she's a muscle girl, like, we don't want muscle girl, we want, you know, oppai, you know, and I'm just saying, but yeah, I mean, just like how you guys don't, there are other people that do, and then there are people that, just because of how she plays, they don't care if she's a muscle girl. And I'm sure there's people who play the game, you know, this game doesn't even have any muscle girls. We don't even have any in this game. That would give us some more diversity, to be honest. That could be like one more notch, that's like a selling point for this game. Just saying. See, look, Susanoo doesn't mind. See, he's not bothered by the fact that she has muscles. I don't know. It's a game, guys. To me, it's just like, she's a really cool character. You know, I don't care if she had muscles or she didn't. If she had this moveset, I'd be saying the same thing. You know? Alright, let me just double check the comments before moving on. Okay, yeah, that's the other thing too. So she also, like, you know, people look at her and it's like, oh look, it's the girl version of Jotaro, which, again, like I said, selling point. Like, the odds of JoJo getting in this game are honestly very, very slim, mainly because of Shueisha being a butt most of the time when it comes to, you know, handling their IP and you know, working with like other companies. If you guys haven't heard, fighters even had like some issues for a little bit because, you know, Shueisha was stopping them from going to tournaments because they wanted however much money. You know, they've even done it for their own games. So I just don't see JoJo. It's just very unlikely that any of Shueisha's anime would be joining this game. So sure, give me, you know, give me Daidouji, give me female Jotaro then. I'd be happy with that. All right. Okay. So, yeah, Daidouji was 7th. We've already mentioned Mirai. You know, I will say that, you know, maybe she might be a bit more popular than I thought in the West, but, you know, again, I'm kind of like not sure because, like I said, I feel like the rest of the placements are like a bit skewed. But yeah, I do think, even though Rinka got 9th this time, I wouldn't be surprised if she moved up on the next popularity poll. Alright, Susano. Have a good one, bro. Alright, alright, cool. So yeah, here we are. Yomi. I know that you've been waiting for this one, Star. We're finally here. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. At first, I didn't really care about her that much. As a character, sure, she's interesting. But her big sword reminded me, like, a bit of S, and I don't like S. So I was like, whatever. She also, though, in addition to that, she also has wrist cannons and bombs. She has some moves that are kind of slow in SL Versus, so I do wonder how she would translate into BBTAG. Besides that, she could probably have a crazy moveset, though. I really do think that she has potential for sure. Yep, I know that you've been waiting for that one, bro. Alright. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so yeah, other things that I just wanted to mention. I feel like Kagura was slept on for this poll for whatever reason. You know, I've seen a lot of people ask for Kagura, and after seeing her moveset, yes, dude, like, yes, please put her in the game. But at least for this poll, she was slept on. Let me see. Oh yeah, one of you guys mentioned Minori to me on Twitter. All right, so we have Minori. Minori would have a moveset that's pretty out of the box. She fights with her bucket, you know, just like you see there, the kind that you would build a sandcastle with. So sure, it might be satisfying to go around beating people up with it. You know, that's what she does in SL Versus. She hits people with her bucket. And, you know, I think that she'd be a comical character in the game. She throws exploding candy out of her backpack, and she has a 60-ton weight in there as well. She'd probably be, like, at least somewhat good in BBTAG. It's just that, for me personally, she's not at the top of my list, you know? Yes, Star, yes. Minori is a platinum that I personally would probably like, you know, a bit more. Like I said, Minori's not at the top of my list, but between Minori and platinum, yeah, I'll say I like Minori more than platinum, yeah. Alright. And then the last ones I wanted to mention are the last 3 in the Kagura group, Naraku, Kanabi, and Khufu. Naraku uses feet flails with huge iron balls attached to them, and I think that's wild. I don't know, she just seems like, I feel like she would be such a cool character to play in a fighting game. She seems like she's an acrobat. She can even, like, Spider-Man swing around. She, like, kicks her ball into the air and she can swing off of it. it just looks ridiculous, bro. I don't know why, I don't know. I feel like she was slept on. For her to not even appear in the poll, I feel like she was really slept on. Just because playstyle wise, dude, that's crazy, All right. Let me see. All right. Hanabi uses a giant hammer, just like you see her holding there, and her fireworks as well to attack. I've been a long time Ruby fan, but I'm not gonna lie. Between Hanabi or Nora, I'd rather have Hanabi join the game. If it came down to one or the other, if they said, okay, you can only have one or the other, I would personally pick Hanabi. But that's just me. Yeah, she seems like she has like some slow moves in Estel Versus as well, but I don't know. She's just like an interesting character. I feel like all the Makagura girls, all of them would give us like some unique play styles in this game, and I think that character-wise, they're all really interesting characters. Okay, yeah, Star. I honestly, I don't even know what you mean by that, bro. I don't even know what you mean by that, man. All right, let me see. Okay, yeah, and the last one is Khufu. Now, Khufu fights with water guns. I'm not sure how that would translate into a fighting game. In Estel Versus, literally she shoots her water guns and then like they can just bounce around literally in midair. So I don't think that would translate into the game. But yeah, I mean, she seems like she's an interesting character. It would be cool just to see like how they would bring her over. She also has that dolphin there that she uses to help her fight. And honestly, usually any characters that are lolly-ish, I usually just don't like. But like I'm telling you guys, Khufu is actually like a cool character. She actually behaves above her age, and she has a more mature sense of sarcasm. Unlike Platinum, who will just call anyone a pervert, a pedo, or whatever. Like Khufu, when she throws out an insult or like she gets into an argument, like she knows how to like hit you with facts. I just think that she could have some funny lines in this game. She has some really good dialogue lines in Estel Versus as well. And yeah, honestly, there's other characters that I didn't mention, and of course I could go on. But yeah, let me check the comments really quick, and I think that this is going to be it for today's discussion.